Welcome, friends, to another Word of Gord. This is my Phil Lesh contact from October 29, 24. The initial upload had distorted audio, which I apologize for, and now I'm going to reread the text from those videos, and hopefully you'll enjoy the clarity. Good morning, friends. Welcome to another Word of God Spirit Contact, this one with the recently passed on founding member of the Grateful Dead, bass player Phil Lesh. He's been ready to communicate for a day or so and seems to be functioning well as a spirit now. I feel his presence currently, so let me tune in. Hello there, Phil, Mr. Lesh. I am a fan and personally witnessed you and the band in concert a couple of times many years ago in the 80s. Thank you for coming through now. Maybe it seems like short notice, but I gather you are quite at ease. And he says, yes, I am. This is a wonderful journey to take, and I was ready for it for quite some time. I sensed it was bound to happen. Wasn't quite sure when, but here I am. And while I wouldn't say I was settled, I am more or less at ease with this exciting new phase of my life. Thank you, Phil. As perhaps you know, I have spoken with other musicians of your generation and locality, and can imagine your pleasure at finding them ready to renew friendships. Yes, I am. And I look forward to meeting even more. I imagine you've already met Mr. Garcia. Oh, yes, I have. He was ready for me. And perhaps Mr. Crosby. Oh, yes. And here he chuckled quite a bit. I was advised fairly quickly that you would wish to speak with me, to allow me to speak freely and put it on the internet for those who may be mourning my passing. I've already been trained by a couple of guides and friends to cope with the new shock as these waves of love keep coming up from Earth. I am almost overwhelmed. It's close. You can feel all this so readily and clearly here. There's no pretending that you're just another guy that passed over. But it was too much. The applause was deafening. Here, I chuckle here myself. I've got Gord chuckles written here. Yes, I know you were interested in modern classical music. I imagine you'll soon be meeting up with those guys like, yes, Berg or Webern are certainly on the list, and Stravinsky too, of course. I've been told that their music is played here, maybe not as often as Mozart, but it's available, and I will be checking them out. Have you actually jammed with the guys yet? No, not really, but we'll get to it. And I know they're itchy to get at it. Crosby already sang me a little song. So you'll be contacting your family members outside of this session? And I'll not be butting in on that. But would you like to say anything? Yes. And with a general chunk of gratefulness, I'd like to say thank you to spouses, children, and parents, as they are involved in this too. Care, nurturing, and whatnot. All the blessings you gave me in the crises of my life, and I will be coming to visit them. I already have briefly. Of course, I'm fairly new here, but I have been told by all the usual suspects, at least some of them, that it will get easier as I grow into it. But one is so giddy with this eternal joy of life, this joy of eternal life. And all you who thought I was going away, well, I'm not. And he said that in a kind of sing-songy voice. And please tell everyone not to despair of my passing. I miss you all and will miss you more. But there are lots of lovely game-playing friends here. More chuckles. The transition is, well, for all its emotional overwhelming factor, it's really quite easy. It's like walking out of one house and going into another. They're magically different and yet somehow the same. I'm sorry to be so mysterious, but sometimes it seems like that. I'd just like to tell everyone just how marvelous it is, how amazing it all is. This incredible lightness of being with this feathery light body you seem to have, and then the emotions that seem to fly you from place to place. That's one of the things I could say, yes. Here I go on and on about how amazing it is, and it is. It's almost like I've left one set of fancies and then I get to see another. There and back in no time. I've been here a few days, whatever days are here, and my head's so full of, what can I say? Words and music, love, regret mixed with longing, mixed with excitement. Oh, there's so much to learn here. I feel so inadequate to the task, but they say I'll get there. I'd felt Garcia was not far, even as Wendy was saying he was way back when, but I kept that quiet. Bob Weir would dream about him on and off, and he'd talk about the dreams, and we knew about that. Being in two places at once, yeah, we knew about it then, and that and other crazy stuff, but we didn't talk about it, not really. Not then, and not yet, anyway. Maybe that's what people asked him, but they wouldn't ask me. Not me. I think I could talk about it some more, but I'm feeling your thoughts about your computer running out of time, and we'll have to do a part 2. Well, Phil, if you feel the need, we most certainly can. Thank you for the opportunity. Yes, Mr. Lesh. Oh, yes. Oh, yes. It's great to be contacting you, and I'm planning to put it online. Here we ended part 1, and, I'm reading it fairly quickly now, but the initial, conversation was slow and halting, as they often are. So after 15 minutes, I uploaded, and we went to part 2. Welcome, friends, to part 2 with Phil Lesh, the famous musical contributor to that extended community of audio explorers that came under the rubric of Grateful Dead and all their offshoots. And thank you for your patience as I uploaded. Phil, blink of an eye, blink of an eye. Phil, I was wondering if you were contemplating your health crisis of years back at all. I noticed that you recovered very quickly, both then and now. Ah, yes, the crisis. Well, some folks thought, well, he dodged a bullet this time, he won't do it again. But it didn't feel like I was dodging anything this time. I abused myself before, but I was more careful later. I felt myself welcoming this, almost forever, this magical experience that seems to be just going on and on. That's what they tell me. It just goes on forever. And I'm starting to believe them. At first it was just, wow, this is wild and weird. But you know, it is just amazing. One fumbles with the words. Yes, Phil, I understand. I've talked to a number of creative artists that have passed on and find themselves thrilled with the opportunities available here in the world of spirit. I'll have to find out about that. I really will. Now, the composers of the classical school, I did once have an interaction, this is me, Gord, with the new and much younger Gustav Mahler. And I put it in a short story, as I didn't actually interview him, and on occasion I found the ability to go forward in time, not from here right now, but forward in time and spirit. With others artists performing, I believe it was a Mozart concerto composed while he was in spirit, not while he was so-called alive. Hope I got that right. Angela Hewitt was performing it in some future time slot. I just found myself there. Maybe you haven't already, but you will find a full slate of artistic endeavors and performances in the world you are now in. So I've heard. So I've heard. You will find yourself fully employed as a human, as a musician, and as a composer. So I'm doing all the talking here. What more have you got to say? Well, I'm touching on the great waves of responsive love I'm feeling from the fans who are mourning my passing. Thank you all for a lifetime of support. We would have been not much without you. Heck, we might have been the Warlocks forever. Phil, I've also heard Box of Rain so often in the last couple of days, I'm singing it myself. Oh, it was all a dream one afternoon we dreamed so long ago. Oh, yes, Hunter's lyrics, quite marvellous. As were the other writers, the gentleman who composed with Mr. Weir, very fine too. Yeah, Crosby was trying to get me to sing along with him. Had to say there for a while. I didn't. I just sort of giggled. But I'll do it again another time for sure. So yeah, one realizes one is borne up by the love and attentions of others, family and friends, musicians and fans. One feels very small in these waves of love and support. And again, I thank everyone in the Deadhead community, what they've done before and what they're doing now. Be not sad, be not grieving. I am well. Not too sure right now, but I am at peace. But I keep getting the feeling the peace is not going to last. It's going to be replaced by, lots of activity. But by all means, keep playing those songs, playing the way I used to play as a devoted gift. As I'm here and I can feel it. And that's amazing in itself that I can feel this stuff. Somehow you think you'll be too far off, but shit, no, you're more sensitive. Crosby's here now. I feel him right beside me suddenly. There he is, the imp. He wants to say hello to everyone, and he wants to thank you, Gord, for spreading your word. Oh, well, David, I'm happy to do that. You were such a spirit of rare welcome and insight. I must say we still miss you. I see a CSNY CD coming out now just this week. So the journey goes on. The myth recreates itself every day or so. And I thank you for popping in and saying hello. I'm seeing the two of them sitting together. I was never quite sure how friendly you guys were. Certainly in earlier times you were. I tried not to get caught up in all the gossipy chit-chat. Who was getting along with who and who wasn't. One recognized a huge community of interacting spirits, creative spirits. I was happy to leave it at that. Well, Phil, we're getting to the end of our time here, but please feel free to add anything you wish. It's a bit like a TV interview here, with you asking me questions, me posing little riddles, and posing me little riddles, I should say. Well, isn't the afterlife a bit of a riddle itself? I mean, I'm very familiar with what goes on there, but even for me, the mystery is unending. Did we always live there? Are we returning to a place we always were at? That's how I feel, that I'm returning to a neighborhood I know well. From dreams and in psychedelic experiences, you'd have glimpses of this place and not know what it really was, and thinking, how amazing. Well, I'm back there now, the zone, you can call it. Yes, tell the Deadheads I'm in the zone here, chuckles, chuckles. And I wish you all au revoir and be happy. Don't worry, I'm fine. Thank you, Phil. Thank you very much. After finishing this, I noticed our 2023 interview with something called the studio session, where Phil is asked about how he improvised with the other players, and he said, by witnessing. And then he said, maybe I'm saving up notes for the afterlife. That was a year ago. So there you go. Think about that. Maybe he was saving up notes for the afterlife, and maybe he's going to use them now. Bye-bye, folks. Next time.